Our second team, Cellardoor from Poland. Take it away, guys.
Had an amazing feature. It knew if the Earth is feeling okay. The creature had felt the Earth become sad, and it had asked why, but the Earth did not reply. The creature set out, feeling things getting bad. But he was so small, not stronger than a tyke. He decided to call Shadow Fairy, imagined creature alike.
Welcome, we are the Cellardoor team from Poland, and we would like to invite you on a journey with Elm.
And during this journey, your guides will be Aleksandra Łukasiak, Rafał Szekalski, Oskar Schulz, and me, Krzysztof Żarczyński.
Also, Elm will be present throughout the whole journey that we will take with you.
We have made a game to encourage reading, and we direct it to small children and their parents.
So now, let's dive into the colorful world of imagination. Now we are showing you the very first gameplay of our game, which is supposed to get you familiar with the basic features of our game, which are controlling objects on the screen and interacting with the game world using shadows.
And the Elm here is just wandering around, watching you learn about his world. We use Elm to teach children that everyone can participate in saving the environment by undertaking simple actions. We teach that actions like turning the tap that require little or no attention from us to creatures like Elm, they always are an adventure.
So in our game, you help Elm by controlling objects on the screen. You can control them in many different ways, such as using your web camera or touchscreen devices. Either you control them by camera or touchscreen, you always end up with the same thing, which is object on the screen and the shadow that it drops on the game scene. So now we are watching how to play with the web camera mode. Web camera mode is basically about inventing your own controllers and inventing your own ways of passing through the game. It expands kids' imagination and lets them to cooperate with each other while passing the game. They can also enjoy the game with their parents together while playing. You can also play our game with touchscreen device. Touchscreen devices provides a natural and intuitive interface for kids who doesn't have experience with computer games. We wanted them to be able to play our game without any preparation or not being experienced with technology. So we designed an interface which helps them to move objects and control them on the screen, just like in the way that the objects from the real world actually works. So we went to a kindergarten and showed that game to kids on a touchscreen device. And as we have seen, kids didn't have any problems with controlling the game, or with learning how to use it and how to play it. So basically, idea behind using those different kinds of controllers and interfaces was that kids shouldn't operate using too small elements like computer mouse or thin pencils when they are coloring the book. So we wanted them to use a more natural interface so they can use it without any preparation and experience. And what's more, we wanted them to be actively playing our game, not only sitting in front of the computer with a keyboard and just standard mouse. Now we will show you some gameplays from our game and how you can actually help him during his adventure.
We have divided our book into chapters, and each chapter covers a different theme regarding the environment. Here, we have water and conserving water. We need to help Elm reach the cork lake. He has spotted that the tap is leaking, and he wants to stop it. We need to block the water, because Elm is afraid of water, and he still wants that cork black heart. Please notice that this is a 3D scene, and take a closer look how the shadow lies on the wall and on the objects in the game scene. We can also have a visual help if we don't know how to pass the level. So we can learn how to pass it. Get helped and succeed. Another level, another chapter in our book refers to the sorting trash and sorting trash. So basically, we have used a color codes from Poland and sort trash that the Elm throws. He tries really hard, and we cover a different theme here too, that we want to reward hard work instead of results. Elm is trying hard, we need to help him and achieve a common goal. We could use here color codes from different countries and switch them depending on the language the computer is working on. And, well, we are here using Polish version of the color codes.
We wanted our book to be designed in this very special kind of aesthetics, which gives you a feeling of having to do with some old magical tome coming from some fabulous world. And we divided our game into 3 graphical layers, which differ in style because each of them symbolizes a different world. And now we are seeing the first layer, which is a book layer. It holds the whole story and illustrations, and it symbolizes a traditional book. Second is the imagination layer, and as you can see, the static picture from the book becomes a living and colorful picture in imagination layer. We use warm and bright colors for this layer, so kids would keep focused and interested in what's going on in the adventure. Third is the reality layer, which holds the controllers in our game, such as the spoon, as you can see, or the object held in front of the web camera when you are playing using this mode.
Well, please take a look at the Shadow Fairy, because it's a great example of our cooperation with our mentor's little daughter. She was our first quality assurance specialist, and when we have shown her the fairy for the first time, she was not really pleased with it. After a short investigation, it turned out that the Shadow Fairy is not a real fairy, because she lacks a wand. It took us 5 minutes to give the Shadow Fairy a wand, but for the Zosia it made the difference.
So during the creation of our book, we started with concept arts of our main character, with concept arts of levels and the idea of whole gameplay. Later, we've built the whole story around it and the book. So inventing the story and the adventures of Elm was the really difficult for us, because we wanted it to be in rhymed verses. So can you imagine how many hours does it take for 3 programmers to really invent those rhyming verses in 2 languages? We are very proud of them, I must say. And later we also recorded recorded reader for our book in 2 languages, so kids in kindergarten, when we went to show our game, could have enjoyed it.
So we have taken the graphics, the rhymes we have written, and we have combined it using technology to a game. But our game is also reversing that theme, because you can actually get our book and print it. So there is a full circle from paper, from rhymes and graphics, to book, a game, and then again into paper and a book. It's a game that you can actually read your child to sleep with, and that's after the child played the game. And we have harnessed the power of Silverlight technology here to let every web browser run our game on both Windows and the Mac computers. We have decided for a form of book because we wanted to emphasize how important it is for people to read books. We find reading a fundamental skill. And have you read a book this year? Because National Endowment for the Arts from America, a report says that nearly half of all Americans have not read any book in 2010. Similar research held in Poland by National Library says that 56% of all respondents have not looked into a book in Poland. This is a worldwide problem, and we have decided to make a game because as the twig is bent, so grows the tree. So we have decided to make a game for children and their parents. We gave it distinctive to books features, and we enriched it because, well, we made our game repetition friendly because everyone who has ever read for children knows that they usually love coming back to their favorite story. And repetition is great if the story involves moral, and our game surely has one. There are also those little involving adventures that help you keep your child focused during the reading. Another thing is that, well, it's a book. It feels like a book, it looks like a book, and if you print it, it becomes a real book. In our game, we refer to a theme of triple R's, of reuse, reduce, and recycle, while not speaking about them literally. We cover themes of 2 Millennium Development Goals, one covering the education and the one covering environment. In our game, we have gone the full circle of creating the game from scratch, from the book, from the rhymes, from the graphics on paper, to a game, and then again to a book. And as a summary of our work, we want to show you our short movie.
Read books, stay smart. An interactive and inordinate old tome, designed to teach through fun. We have decided for a form of book because we want to emphasize how important it is for people to read books. We have translated the game to Polish to let kids in a friendly kindergarten enjoy it. Your role as a player is to interact with the game world using shadows. You can play with touchscreen, camera or mouse. Touchscreen and mouse are similar experiences. You use the controller and manipulate it with the cursor or fingers. Using camera lets you to use a thing from your surroundings to cast a shadow at the game scene. Our game refers to the concept of triple R's, of reduce, reuse and recycle, while at the same time not speaking about them literally. This is what you get if you decide to use our print the book option. Remember, read books, stay smart. Read for fun, read to learn.
Thank you.
Congratulations on obviously reaching this level of the competition, and as well on the changes that you've made between the first presentation and now. Certainly a wonderful presentation on your part today. I think it would be instructive for all of us to hear from you what are some of the major technical challenges, if you will, that stood in the way of you being able to develop this, this game / reading book once the idea came to you. Tell us a little bit about how that went about and maybe the experiences of the team in terms of the different contributions that each one of you had.
Am I speaking loud or?
Okay, so for me, as a guy who were working on the controllers in our game, the biggest challenge, yeah, Thanks. The biggest challenge was to develop the interface in such way so the kids could really understand it and use it, because I have in mind that I am designing an interface for kids who have 4 years or 6 years, and they are not really used to technology theme. So yeah, that was really challenging for me. And as an experience for our team during the development of our game, I think the most experiencing the most experience that we get was that working with children really, and looking how they interact with our game, how they react to it, and how they really play it with what we have designed for them.
Okay, so Rafał says that for him the most difficult thing was the animations, making the book flow seamlessly, and Ola, the greatest challenge was the icons in the game, so actually make the little children understand what the icon means, and it's next to the, well, not understandable text, so they can play it. And for me, the most challenging thing in this game was, well, making the whole thing in the gameplays, the game engine, and making the shadow lie on the walls the way I wanted, and making the camera work as expected, well, and the music player into the game, it made some problems too, but, well, because we wanted to play many audios simultaneously, and, well, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually wanted to follow up on your question. In making a game for children, like, what is something you learned along the way that was different from your original design as you started to have 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds play your game? Like, what did you change from where you started as a result?
Okay, so for example, when we first designed our game, it was supporting multi-touch on single controller, so you can move the spoon with 2 fingers. But later it appeared that children were getting confused, where they were trying to play with together with one controller, and it was working in not the way that they would expect. So later we've decided to use only one touch point on each controller, so they can still play with each other on one touch device, but using 2 or more controllers. So only one child can use one controller at once, really, at this moment.
Okay, to co jeszcze? Co jeszcze?
So, in your game you have like 3 ways of controlling the game, right? The mouse, the camera, and the touch. So, why is that? What were your steps to get into multiple controllers for your game? Can you?
Zaczęliśmy od kamery, to był świetny feature. Potem poszliśmy do multitoucha, znaczy do myszki, bo musieliśmy to testować. Potem przyszedł pomysł na to, żeby używać multitoucha. Nie? Chcesz powiedzieć? Okay, so we have started with an idea for the controlling game with the shadows. So it was obvious to use a camera, and things we can cut out, as use trumpet or horse cut out of the paper. And, well, then it came to a point that we had to test it. So another obvious point of our development was to make it playable using mouse. But then this bright person came up with an idea that we can actually use a multi-touch device because, well, the spoon and the fork we've made for testing are really cool.
Okay. I have a question. You're using a camera for gameplay, but different camera from different manufacturers, and also the camera react differently on different lighting. So if you are going to sell your game like now, what will you do to this, compensate this different situation?
Yeah, well, actually, the company that produces the camera, we tested the engine for the camera and to casting the shadows on the different devices, and that was not a problem at all. The greatest problem was with the white balance, but we have sorted out, and well, that's the most difficult part about the camera. When we are close to the camera, then the light is dimmed, and when we are farther, it's pushed up. So that was the hardest point at this. And well, we have tested our camera, and it works for different manufacturers.
Actually, one more question. First, I was going to say that this is delightful. So it's really a really interesting direction you've taken this. This can be experienced with a parent, with a child, or sort of with a child by itself, right? Because kids today can just get on the computer. What do you think is the core experience? Like, is it intended to be for the child who can just get on the computer and go, or is this intended at its core as like a parent and child experience?
Well, we think that the core is the cooperation with the parent, and the reader we have recorded is more as an addition to the actually parents reading our book to the children, because that voice for sure will be more pleasant for the children.
Thank you.
Okay.
Tell us please something about your future plans.
Future plans.
Okay, so we were thinking about making an editor for our game, so the community could make their own books or own chapters, really. The next idea is to make more books about covering different themes than environment, so we can make a book about animals or numbers or society. And the third idea is to make our game as a web page where companies can really make sponsored chapters, and parent can somehow buy
Okay, so the parents can buy the books they like. So there's those two ways of our development, but either way, we want this book about environment, about themes regarding saving the planet, to be definitely for free.
I thank you very much. Yeah, really good. Thank you.
All right. Down in front. Thank you, Cellardoor. We're going to take the half-hour break and be back for the third and final web game in 30 minutes. Thanks, judges.